computer cable. There's a... Oh, no, we are plugged in. Oh, we are live. Excellent. Hello.
Hey.
We're about as disorganised as I always am. I'm now really going to confuse you because we're going to look here. When we look at it on this bit, we'll be reversed. Just to confuse us. But then it's because my eyesight's so rubbish. I pop this bit out and we pop the chat out. Hello, everybody. You can probably tell this isn't Mr. J. Niall from Nile Gardens has come to visit us for a couple of days. He's living in the life of luxury.
Oh, yeah.
Just lying around doing nothing all day long. But we thought we've just actually had a quick chat with Jane Kelly on a video chat. And we just went, oh, let's do a live as well. So I'm going to say hello to a few people. Inga's here. Hi, Kenny. Rebecca, Marilyn, Linda. Do you know what we haven't got? We haven't got any of our moderators here yet.
Oh yeah.
So I might just. Oh, Deb and Jeff. Hello. Hi. How are you? We were saying I don't think there would be anybody from Australia. So let me just message our mods to see if they're around. You might have to tell them what we've been doing today.
What have we been doing? I have been put to work. Liz is making me earn my keep. So we have been working on, if you've looked at her video recently about creating the big duck house for the winter, we've been clearing out a lot of stuff out of it because there's a load of manure in it that we wanted to get shifted to a different part of the field so that we can get some beds planted up. So that was pretty much all of today, moving that, because I don't know how well it shows in Liz's videos. But this is a very, very steep plot. So each barrow load was a lot of work to get it dug out and then hoofed up the hill and into the bed.
So yeah, it's been an interesting one. I'm just going to say hello to Tony, Kath, Tracy, Claire, Bill. Void 17, do you need any farm workers? I have. Of one. Andy, hiya. Andy does know exactly how steep it is here. Andy is our beekeeper.
Oh, lovely.
So he's very aware of how steep it is.
Yeah.
And Jean's here. Hi. Muddy Boots. Hello. How are you? I'm really sorry that I didn't make it to Malvern Autumn Show this year. I just decided that given the weather and given that I was exhausted and also that there was still quite a lot of COVID bugs around and things, I just decided that I would stay at home this year. But hopefully next year I will be there. Tanya, hello. And Marie.
And there's somebody up the road from me from Navan, Bill Swan.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, is in Navan. That's very close to where I live. And it's nice because I can see names that I recognise. So to the people I already know, hello. And
Jeff's here. Hiya, Jeff. How are you? Over at Brimwood Farm. Oh, you're going to have to excuse me for a minute. Come on, then. You can. Come here.
Yeah. Hi, Kenny.
So, international superstar is here.
Monty.
He's been such a gem, hasn't he?
He has.
He's inspected everything we've done. Tony.
Hello, Tony.
Tony O'Neill's here. And Kim is here. Hiya. You going to say something?
No, he's too chilled out. He is a lot calmer than my two miniature schnauzers. So I don't know how many of you have seen my channel, but we've got two little dogs. We've got two miniature schnauzers called Peggy and Jampa, and they are not as calm as Monty is.
Oh, he is. He's just a very chilled elderly statesman, isn't he?
Oh, there's Leslie Macaulay. We know who she is. Hello, Mum. My mum is going to be mortified that I've mentioned that she's my mum. So hello, Mum. We
had when I used to do a live chat with Erica's mum and her sister, and all sorts of people used to come and say hello. We'd always be like, oh, hi, Mum. And what was really nice is we did the live chat, Erica and I, quite a lot. And then I met her mum in real life a bit later, and then I met her sister at her wedding and things like that.
Nice.
So that was lovely. So yeah, look, people saying hello, Mum, and Catherine says. So we haven't got anything constructive to say other than it has been a day of mucking out the lower barn, and we actually got the ducks into bed in the barn this evening, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
Which was much more straightforward than I had expected it to be. I had expected there to be a real ruckus to get them to go from where they've been sleeping in the field shelter into the barn and then into a shed in the barn. But they were really actually very easy to move and really quite well behaved. And I haven't heard a huge amount of noise from them. So hopefully they've settled down. So now they're in. And just a reminder, if you are in the UK and you've got poultry, as of midnight tonight, they have to be kept under cover. So go and check out AFA or DEFRA's website and just find out what the rules are about keeping them under cover. And there's increased biosecurity that you have to use as well. So that's why we've got them in, because we have to have them in. They're in an area that's 40 feet by 16, and I was just saying today how, having had over an acre to walk around in, I don't think they're going to be very happy over the next few days. So,
but you do have a great setup for them, and they all went in very happily. So I have never herded ducks in my life, let alone trying to get them down the hill, through a couple of gates, down a narrow passageway, down into their new home. So
which they've never been in before. Yeah. So
it's kind of a big day to be having to go with that.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was a good one. So, and Lynn's here. Hiya, Lynn. And Caroline. Hello. So, Caroline, thank you for all your comments on my videos. I really appreciate them. Caroline's really nice. Every time she watches a video, she leaves like 1 or 2 comments.
Oh, that's very sweet.
For each video, which is really lovely. I know lots of other people leave comments too, but I just thought I'd say thank you to Caroline. So Lynn's saying that miniature schnauzers are lovely as well.
I am totally biased, but miniature schnauzers are brilliant.
So Lynn's saying, I've told my chicks how lucky they are living in Australia. Yes, it has been a difficult, it's going to be a difficult winter for them again. So, hello, Sandra. She's in Nashville. What I usually do at the beginning of a live chat. Niall hasn't done a live chat before.
No.
So he's a live chat virgin.
Yeah. So if you see me like looking away or looking really awkwardly, it's because I'm not used to looking into the camera to talk to you guys and also looking at the chat window. So I'm probably a bit.
Do you know what? About 50% of any chat I have is me going like this, trying to, even my glasses on, I'm like trying to do this. Hello, Tony. Thank you for joining us. Was that a response to my message? Yes, he did. He responded to my message. Thank you. So yes, where was I going with the live chat thing? You haven't done a live chat before, so no, so we were having a chat with Jane Kelly at Jane's Allotment, and we just said, let's do this. Yeah. So you can look all over the place. No one's going to mind.
So in that case,
I'm like so disorganized. Like, so Tony O'Neill, when he does a live chat, he's like super organized. He's totally on it. He knows what he's going to say. He answers questions. He's absolutely on the ball.
Yeah.
I dither around, don't know what I'm doing, and I just just is.
Yeah, Tony, you're
just saying I wish I was.
You're being very modest because I've seen your live chats. So, well, in that case, because there have been people writing messages saying hello to me. So, hello to everybody.
Yes,
that's on the chat.
Say hello to anyone and everyone you want to.
Because you maybe don't already know me yet.
Okay, so Niall has got a really nice channel. He lives in Ireland. In the video description, I've left a link to Niall's channel. Tony Stevens, would you mind popping that link from the video description of Niall's channel into the box so that people can see that? Can I invite you that if you haven't already subscribed to Niall's channel to go and have a look, subscribe, and watch a couple of videos which will tell YouTube that you do actually want to be subscribed and they won't unsubscribe you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That would be brilliant. Yeah.
So let's have a look.
Well, actually, I'm thinking maybe for people that don't know me, they don't even know why I'm here. So I actually live in Ireland and Liz is in Wales. But we've known each other for a year, 18 months now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I have wanted to come across and see this place for ages. And about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I just sent Liz a message and said, I would like to come and visit. So I kind of just imposed myself. Yeah, so I'm overspending a few days.
Yeah, and as he's here, he really wanted to come and visit, which means he must want to be shoveling manure and shoveling compost.
Yeah.
So we're actually going to go out and see a garden tomorrow.
Yes.
Elsewhere. And then when we get back, yes, it will be more free labour. And when we get back tomorrow, we might contemplate starting to plant daffodils.
Yeah, I think so. I think that would be nice.
So I've said one or two things. We'll either plant daffodils or we might make a Christmas wreath. So we'll do it based on my video on Christmas wreaths, and I'll get Niall to make a Christmas wreath for our front door here. But I might film it. So.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Thanks, Tony.
Yeah, thanks, Tony. Kenny, Niall, do you now want ducks?
Hi, Freaky Geek. Hi.
Yes, I do want ducks. And this is, I suppose, now a matter of public record.
Yeah, so really clearly, he needs Aylesbury ducks.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, they need to be Aylesbury's, not runners, not cool ducks, but great big lumbering Aylesbury's. Trash your garden, but they're just gorgeous.
They are actually fantastic. I really enjoyed it today. Just popping them into bed. It's very cute. It's lovely. It's brilliant.
So yeah. Oh look, Kenny has just said perfect. Let's make it happen.
Oh, great.
Ha ha ha. And I don't think that was about planting daffodils.
No, I think it was about getting ducks. Deal.
Hi, Julie. How are you? So if I haven't said hello to you as you've arrived, please forgive me. The chat does go quite quickly. It's evening, so my brain is fried. But I'm not the one who's had 2 very large glasses of homemade wine.
Yeah, I may have had 2 glasses of Liz's homemade cherry wine, so I'm feeling a bit hot behind the eyes at the minute. But yeah, no, it's lovely. It's lovely. Somebody had commented and said, thank you for my videos on making a hot composter.
Yeah.
So I'm very glad that you liked them. And someone else had said that they've made one. So that's really cool as well.
Oh, nice.
That's brilliant. Yeah.
So Lisa says, which area of the UK do you think is the best for a year non-growing success? I have done all year round growing success in Lancashire, Gloucestershire, 3 parts of Wales. So I would have said you've got to go fairly far north, and as long as you can give things undercover, I think you'd have to go really very far north. I think you probably have to go off the northern coast of Scotland where stuff doesn't grow because it's so windy.
Exactly.
As opposed to it being too cold or anything. So
yeah,
you are most of the UK, pretty much all of Ireland.
Yeah, I would say the same, because even I think what we would consider to be quite extreme weather in the UK and Ireland globally isn't actually that extreme. And we're really fortunate that we do have a very temperate climate, really. And like you say, it's more about wind that an issue.
Right. Oh, good. Okay, I'm just adding, because poor old Tony Stevens is having to do quite a lot of work at the moment because so many people have, so many under the bridge dwellers are here. Tony O'Neill, I've also just added you as a moderator for the chat here. So if you don't mind, if you see any inappropriates, can you help Tony Stevens blam them? That would be great. I did say I thought going live at this time of night we would probably have a few people that weren't necessarily as welcome as they might be.
Yeah.
I don't even like to say the name of that. So I think we all know what I'm talking about. So let's see if there's any Oh no, Freaky Geek, no, you're not. It was all right. It was somebody else was or somebody other. I think it's quite often automated.
Okay,
so we'll just ignore that. So you've been here. You got here yesterday.
Got here yesterday in probably the first of the proper bad storms of the year.
So we've got a shipping container that was here when we moved in that has a tarp over the front door because the rolling up and down door doesn't work, and then it's got a really heavy piece of wood across the bottom to kind of hold it down. And I was watching the wind kind of suck this tarp in and then out again. And then we went to put the ducks to bed last night. I thought, what's going on there?
Yeah.
And the wind had picked this tarp up and taken it right over the top of the shipping container with this really heavy piece of wood, which I can hardly lift. And it's taken it right up and has smashed it through the ceiling.
Yeah.
Completely ruined the ceiling of the shipping container. So we've got another job to do there in the next few days. So it has been a bit windy. Oh, it ripped some panels off the back of that shipping container. I think the wind must have just got into a bad place there.
Yeah.
But yes, we've had tiles moving on the roof.
Just bits and pieces from around the place
have
gone flying.
And then talking of flying, that must have been a fairly scary trip over.
The last few minutes it was fairly rough, and then the drive here was fairly rough. Going over the Severn Bridge in that wind was quite hairy, so it took me longer than expected to get here.
Which was fine. Yeah.
But it made for an interesting plot tour because the two of us went around the whole place with Liz showing me everything in the teeth of a gale. You know, when it's so cold and so windy, it feels like it's blowing the tears out of your eyes. It was
like a dry eyeball moment. Every time you kind of turn the corner and go, oh, yeah, that was awful.
Yeah. But what I would say is, even in that weather, this place is incredible. Absolutely incredible. Because most of you, I'm guessing all of you, have seen this place in videos and how beautiful it looks. And it's incredible. And to have this piece of land.
Oh yeah, we are so lucky.
Yeah.
And the nice bit was, you know, we bought this piece of land, but what we've actually got is an incredible view. And the thing I was saying to you today is we're actually on a north facing slope. And sometimes I think, oh, we'd been able to buy on the other side of the hill, so we were on a south facing. But then we would have been looking at this bit of the mountain.
Yep.
So we would have been looking at the north. Whereas this way, we're looking at the sunshine and all that light is reflected back at us.
Yeah.
So actually, I think in some ways we've done it the right way around.
Yeah.
We'll know at the end of the growing season next year. There's nothing we can do about it. But, you know, short of, I guess, putting some mirrors up on the hill to reflect the light back or something. Let's have a look. So Jan's here. Hi. Mark's here. Mark was saying I was worried about my newest greenhouse. Turns out to be more stable than my house. Yes. My daughter's at Ellesmere Port at sea level. Had snow on the ground this afternoon. Loads of people snow all over the place. We had snow, not here. We could see snow on the top of the Brecon Beacons. So we look out over sort of the southern part of the Brecon Beacons, and we could see right on the top. It was like someone had dusted it with icing sugar. And then we saw photos of Jane Kelly in her garden, with loads and loads of snow. So it made me realise that we'd actually not had very much at all.
Yeah.
So sorry, I'm just reading something. So Tony, you're not feeling good? So this is Tony O'Neill.
Oh, I think it might be about they're talking about greenhouses and polytunnels.
Oh right, okay. Oh, well, that's better than Tony not feeling.
Thankfully.
That's a crash imminent. Yes.
The housing.
So her mum's homestead. There's a few flurries here this afternoon. So yeah, it has been. It was a fairly blustery. It was a blustery day, and then and the wind just started dropping during the night. And this morning it was so still.
Yeah.
It was almost eerily still.
Yeah. So we went for what was essentially a second plot tour.
Yeah. And it looked completely different with not dry eyeballs.
Yeah. Yeah. Completely different. And it gave me a little bit of time to take some photos and get some little video clips. Not even for my channel, actually just for myself, just little clips to remember the place.
And you took a couple of beautiful photographs today, which
Yes.
you sent me, so I will share those on social media at some point.
Yeah, absolutely, there for you.
Yeah, so that was really nice. And so one of the conversations we had today is about how much has or hasn't been achieved here in how long we've got here at the end of June, and we're now at the end of so how is that, 5 months?
Yeah.
So that feels, I mean, that's quite a long time, really. But the whole of the food forest is planted up in rows, apart from the section at the very far end, which is right by a stream and is very boggy.
Yeah.
And I think the only thing I'm going to do with that is maybe put some willows in there, or I'll find some damp loving herbs or something, or possibly what might be really good would be something like wild garlic, because it's shaded down there, and it can just grow as much as it wants. So basically the food forest is pretty much completely planted up now with the skeleton of the plants. That is a lovely super chat. Thank you very much, Tony. You sent us some money saying can't wait for the spring. Right, so I'm going to put that towards some more bulbs.
Yes.
Not some more daffodil bulbs, but I'm having a real let's put bulbs in, because they're great. You can put them in and then they're there for year after year and they can naturalize. So I had some irises arrive this morning. Or yesterday. They arrived late yesterday, but I picked them out of the post box this morning. So I will get some more irises with that. Thank you. So Lisa's here. Hello. Liza's here. Thank you. Hello. I'm so pleased you've joined us. And Evelyn's here. Hi, Evelyn. So Evelyn used to live in Scotland, and she came to see us at the last site, and she came on a course. So she came over and did a course on another cold moment. But she's now moved to Portugal.
Oh wow.
It's probably slightly warmer than it is than it is here at the moment.
And what part of Scotland did Evelyn live in?
I don't know. She'll tell us if
Yes.
we ask. So
the reason I ask Evelyn is I love Scotland and I know a few areas of it, so it'd be really interesting to hear.
Ellen has had snow twice. Good grief. Jenny says, what are your tips for fastening everything down? Tarps, rope.
Yeah. Anything heavy.
Put
heavy stuff on top of things.
There isn't. I don't think there is a good. I mean, and the particular wind that we had yesterday, I think, was actually quite circular. And it didn't seem to just be coming from one direction.
Yeah.
It seemed all over the place, and in some ways you almost can't prepare for that.
Yeah.
So, Eliza, sorry to hear you've got COVID. I hope you're feeling better soon. Jed said made wild garlic salt. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Fritillaries would be great in a boggy patch. Yes, that's a good idea. Helen, hiya. Thank you for joining us. Oh, I actually lived in Dumfriesshire.
I know that area, all of that area really, really well. We used to have family that lived there, so I spent a lot of time there. That's amazing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's a beautiful part of the country. And what's lovely about that part of southern Scotland is, so I'm originally from Northern Ireland, and the countryside and the geography is really, really similar between the two. So it kind of feels like home from home.
Do you want to tell anybody who hasn't found your channel yet? Do you want to tell them a little bit about your garden?
Oh yeah.
I'm going to pick up a tissue. I'm going to walk over there and blow by doze.
So my setup is very, very different to Liz's. So I have like a standard garden that comes with my house, but very similar to Liz, the garden is new. So myself and my partner bought our house about 2 years ago now. Yeah, autumn 2019. And it's the garden of my dreams. It's about an acre. It's in the Irish countryside. And having got the garden, I decided I was going to start a YouTube channel of it. So the channel covers everything about me in the garden, whether I do little tutorials for things that I think are going to be useful. I do vlogs about things that I'm doing in the garden. But one of the biggest things that I've been trying to work on this year is to be productive in edible food. It's something I don't have a lot of experience in. So what I've created is a really nice, like formal raised bed potager style vegetable garden. And so far it's been a really big success. Most of this year has been construction, but I got things planted in very, very late in June. And if she's still on, she's going to be embarrassed. My mum came down and helped me, which was a huge help. And so did my partner, and we got everything planted. And despite planting things very late, we still got some really nice harvests.
Okay, so what Niall isn't telling you is that the way that his garden is different to mine is his garden is beautifully tidy. It's really structured. So where I go, that's really weedy, we'll call it a wildlife garden. And I'll say, that's really weedy, I'm going to tidy it up.
Yeah.
And it's so you're much, much better about tidying it up and then having a designated wildlife patch as opposed to letting almost the whole of your 1 acre become a wildlife garden.
Yes. Yeah. We've tried that as well. We did a whole no-mow experiment last year, which we've rolled back on. But it's a really beautiful garden, and we were really fortunate. In the videos, I'll always talk about the previous owners, and that's because they spent 40 years creating the garden. So it's full of mature trees. It's got an orchard and a pond. So it's this beautiful space. But what I've been doing is starting to make it our own. So it's got our stamp on it. But it's got lovely bones.
Yeah.
It's got lovely bones. And it's lovely being over here with Liz now and seeing the parallels about taking on somewhere new and making it yours and making it work for you the way you want it to work.
Yeah. A really good question here from Jenny. So what's your favourite season? And I'm going to add, and why?
And why?
What is your favourite season and why?
For me, it's spring. So I'm one of those people that's notoriously always cold. So I don't particularly like winter. Autumn, I always find a little bit sad because I feel like everything's going off. What I love is late spring, like mid to late May and going into June, when everything is looking so green. You've got loads of flowers starting, but nothing has got to that point, towards the end of summer when things start to look a bit tired as well. Everything's just really, really vibrant. So that would be it.
We need to say thank you to Melinda, who sent over a super chat or a super sticker. Oh, look, it's got a little animated thing. That's cute. So anything that's coming in a super chat or a super sticker tonight, I'm going to put towards bulbs to go out into the food forest. So thank you for that. We need to say hello to Rue. Rue's here. Hiya, Rue. I saw somebody else was here. Who was that I just caught someone's name? Sonia is here as well. I know there are lots of people I haven't said hello to, and never enough times here. So I'm going to answer the question. So my favourite season isn't a season. It's something that I've talked about, in fact, even since we've moved here. I like the period at the end of summer going into autumn, where I call it the pause, and it's the time when the soil has warmed up enough that when you're out walking in the early evening, the heat radiates back up at you, and the air is almost thick with scent from plants, and the garden's just full of produce, and everything is just it's almost like really still and really heavy. And it's just like it's the end of summer, and it's kind of not quite autumn. So it's just heading into it. And I talk about it as the pause, because to me it's the pause before you then get that kind of rush of work where you're bringing all the harvest in and preparing it and everything. So there we go. Mine is an in-between season bit. So let's have a little look. So can I just say, if you've got questions for either myself or Niall, can you put them all in capitals so that we can see them really easily?
That'll definitely help me because I'm not used to looking at the chat.
So Jenny's saying, love your chat. What's your favourite plant to grow?
Oh, no, I saw that question and I've been secretly trying to think of the answer. It doesn't come to me
every week.
Yeah, it doesn't come to me immediately. I like growing sweet pea. What I actually like growing are things that feel really, really tough, and they'll get knocked around, but they'll still work in the end. So things like sweet pea, I love. Strawberries, tomatoes, I love. And I'm going to let you answer that as well. And I'm going to keep thinking.
You keep thinking, right? Well, almost anything. I know it's a really thing. I'm going to say roses, peonies, because I actually, ornamentals are my first love. So roses, peonies, flowers that release their scent in the early evening.
Mm-hmm.
So things like sweet rocket, which is so nondescript as a plant, as a flower. I shouldn't insult it like that, but it's not big and blazy. It's a very, very simple flower. And I've always kind of thought, what's the point of having that in the garden? And then when I actually grew it, it was like, I don't get it. And then I went out one early evening, it was like, and the smell, if you go close to the plant, you can't really smell it. But if you stand back a bit, the warmth of the it's in the air and it's so heady.
Yeah.
So things that are kind of secretly scented in some ways, I think are beautiful. And then in terms of veg, I love runner beans. I actually really like things that climb and scramble, because I'm always just so stunned that such a tiny seed can produce an enormous plant. So when you get a pumpkin seed, and it seems to me that the bigger the pumpkin is, the smaller the seed is.
Yeah.
If you buy a uchikikiri, really little squash, it's then got huge seeds in it, so it's almost like the wrong way around. But anyways, so that you can have such a tiny seed and it will grow this 20 or 30 foot long plant, I just find amazing.
Yeah.
And that sort of thing, just I find wonderful.
And it doesn't maybe answer your question, but one of the things I'm loving growing at the moment are plants that need a bit more heat, because we have a polytunnel, and I worked on the polytunnel this year, and now I'm growing plants that I haven't grown before, that are new to me.
Chilies in your
Yes, a lot of chilies.
Niall tells me he didn't know, and I don't. But he didn't know how many chilies appeared on each plant.
Yeah. So I planted. How many did I say to you? I think
18.
About 18 cayenne and about 18 serrano, and I started looking, going, oh wow, I've got 3 chilies. This is amazing. And by the end, I ended up really measuring it in kilos. I have a lot of chilies. Some I dried, some I've turned into sriracha, which is really nice. But the other thing that I've been growing this year was melons. I managed to grow 4 Gallia melons.
Fantastic.
And that felt really special. And when they're ripe, you go into the polytunnel and you can smell that they're ripe. And I had already been sending Liz progress pics of this, the melon that starts about this big, it's getting bigger and bigger. And then I get a message going, before you eat it, you have to let me know. And I ended up getting a little video taken of me tasting it, the first one. And it was divine. It was amazing.
Right, so Mark is saying, given the scale of your gardens, any tips for taking on the challenge of that sort of a project? Yes, we were talking about this today.
Yeah.
And I garden purely and simply in the area that is immediately in front of me. So in my mind, I always think of the big picture, but the only thing I concentrate on is the bit that I can almost, if you put your hand out, that's the distance of the area that I concentrate at one time. Because if you think about the size of a plot, it's just too overwhelming. But it's actually really easy. Just concentrate on the bit that's just in front of you. And I also think it kind of, people talk about being kind of present or mindful and that sort of thing. And I don't really understand that, but I do get that thing of just concentrate on what's there without worrying about all the rest of it.
Yeah.
So in the back of my mind, I will walk out into the garden and think I want to concentrate on that area today, but I then don't worry about what's happening out of reach. I'll concentrate on one area, then I will move and concentrate on that bit, rather than just going, oh, I've still got another 70-foot row of, you're going to experience this tomorrow when we go out and do the daffodils, because we're planting a double row of daffodils down each side of a runway, which is about 110 meters long. So that's 330 to 350 feet.
Yeah.
But two sides, that's twice that.
Yeah.
If you start thinking, I've got about 700 feet of daffodils to plant. Like, my eye is twitching at the thought of it.
If I had
it's got eye twitch going on just at the thought. But if we think we're just going to do some daffodils, and we're not planting that all in one go. We're only going to be planting that small piece in front of us.
Yeah.
And then working our way along. So really, it's just, in some ways, it's maybe it's conning your brain, but it's actually conning your brain so that you don't go slightly nuts at the thought of the size of the projects.
Yeah. There's a question there. How have you stored your chilies? Probably badly. So first year growing chilies. So harvested them. The majority of the cayenne peppers I've turned into a sriracha sauce, because both of us really like spicy hot sauces. Looked it up on YouTube to get an authentic recipe that is basically white chili, white vinegar, salt, sugar, and some red bell peppers, and you boil it in the vinegar. You lift it out, you blitz it up, and then you add some of the vinegar back in. That's delicious. The rest of them, the serrano peppers, I've dried. Some of them we've blitzed up into powder. Some we've turned into chili flakes.
I don't do chilies at all, so I'm looking at you really blankly, because chili's a chili is a chili to me. So I've got no idea what. So Never Enough Time says, do you have a schedule for the week to help manage all of the upkeep and planting? Do you?
I should do, but no. I'm a very bad list maker in that I just add to my list. And I think one thing I find is that even if I have a schedule, I'll go out to the garden, and if I start working on something, I'll see something else that needs to get done, and it gets reprioritized. The one thing that does keep me on a schedule is I do tend to think ahead about what YouTube videos I'm going to make.
Yeah.
So if I know for the next 3 weeks that I want to cover several things in a YouTube video, that tends to dictate my schedule.
I was just thinking about schedule. I mean, we had planned some of the things that we were going to do while Niall was here. Then the storm happened, so everything we were going to be doing yesterday didn't get done because we were going to be outside. There was no way we were going to go out in that storm. Things that we were going to do this morning we didn't do because we were clearing up from the storm. So actually, in some ways we can have a schedule, but it is constantly change because of the wind, because of the animals, because a sheep has got out, because a tree fell down. So it's constantly stuff gets changed. And the thing that was an urgent priority, I kind of go, well, maybe it wasn't really a priority, because otherwise I would be doing that instead.
Yeah.
So that then gets moved further down. I have got a to-do list. It's a bit like yours. I might do one thing off the top of it, and 5 go on at the bottom. Ever
growing.
So let's have a look. Chris is saying, do you get snow in your area? Yes, we do. Do you ever get snow there?
Yes, but very little. So we would maybe get snow 1 or 2 days a year. And at that, generally, we'd only get, it's a matter of a few centimetres, but we don't get any snow on any meaningful level.
Well, we didn't in our old place, apart from when there was a beast from the east storm thing. But we're now above the snow line here. So We're waiting to find out how much snow we will or we won't get. So Red 66 Red 66 says, is my compost heat still working during the colder months?
Yeah, absolutely it is. It may be working slower, but it's certainly still working.
Oh, what a nice question. Right, I think I'm not going to answer this. Now, I don't want you to answer this either. I would like you all to answer this. So this question is, does growing things make you happy?
And I think it's a great question. I think it's an important question.
Yeah. It's a really good one.
Yeah.
So, does growing things make you happy? Go, answer. So this is one of the things that I've actually talked about quite a lot, A, in my book, and B, and in numerous videos about this. So this first answer is yes, it soothes my soul. Yeah. Growing beehives, yes.
Digging is my therapy.
I think that smile says, oh, yep. Growing things makes me very happy. Jed says I've still got some green chilies. Digging is my therapy. Hi, Pete. Yes, most definitely. Absolutely, definitely. I love this. That was a really nice question. You've got to think Jane, thank you so much for joining us. I did say to people, we were chatting to you and we suddenly said, oh, why don't we that was a good chat with Jane, why don't we do a live chat?
Yeah.
So thank you for inspiring us.
Yeah, you got us fired up to do it.
Actually, Jane and I were going to have, Jane just messaged me and said, have you got 2 minutes to chat on a video chat? So I said yes, and then she rang me on the video chat thing and I ran over into the next room.
And I answered instead.
We were in childish mode, which is good. So it says, Nana says, yes. Benny says, it's everything to me. Hi, Benny. How are you? Lucinda, for sure. Who else have we got? Sheila's saying yes. Michael says, definitely, even though I only grow in buckets and a cold front. That's absolutely not an only.
Yeah.
There are loads of people who do container gardening, and if you've got a balcony that you're working on, or a patio or something like that, that's an ideal thing to be growing in.
Yeah.
So,
and actually, it's a real talent to produce stuff from a small space.
Yes.
Just as much as it is to produce stuff from a really large space.
Yeah. I think you have to think, because you've got to think about watering so carefully, and you've got to think about nutrient levels so carefully, and also that what you're growing doesn't out-compete everything else. So yeah, I think it's an incredibly talented thing to do. So Susan's saying, yeah, growing things makes me happy. Oh, what a great question.
Lisa says that she loves digging and weeding. Well, that's really good, because I hate both of those things. So feel free.
You should have said that before I put a spade in your hand and said, can you move? I said, I cannot tell you how many wheelbarrow loads of well, it's not compost, is it? And it's not just, it wasn't purely manure.
It's composted manure, really.
It's composted manure, but it didn't have much bedding in it.
No.
So it was
very dense.
It was very dense, and some of it was quite anaerobically smelly, wasn't it? It needs to kind of go out in the air and breathe a bit, to which point it will be great, and it would be great mixed in with a bit of topsoil.
Yeah.
But we must have between us, I think we probably did 30, 25, 30.
Easily. Yeah. Easily.
And in our old place, that would have been relatively simple, because it was almost totally flat in our old place. It is so not flat here. It is. It was steep. So earlier in this conversation, we were saying just how steep it is, but as lots of people have joined us since then, I thought I would just reiterate how hard work that is. You really do get a workout.
Big time. Trying to get up that hill And actually, I can't remember if you've already heard this bit. I'm sorry, but it was fine at the start of the morning because it's been so cold overnight. It was -2 during the night, so all of the ground was frozen, and we were going great guns up and down. But as the day wore on and things started to thaw, it started getting slippy.
So you can't get up with it. If the barrow was too heavy, you'd get to one point and your feet would just be going backwards. Yeah, it's been interesting. Tony's got this joy to come. Tony O'Neill is going to come and see me at some point. And then I'll say, Tony, while you're here, can you just... So Lisa's saying, what's your favourite garden tool? Without a doubt, my hands. Hands and a pair of scissors. Yeah, she's saying she looks her for a good pair of scissors, but I think my hands are the thing that I will always, if I've got to cut something, I'll either, if it's a piece of string, I'll see if I can undo it first. Yeah. If it's something that might break, I will try and break it before I will trek off and find scissors. So, so let's have a little look. So Adele says, I've just come in. Liz, have you had any snow today? We have. So we just had a tiny bit of snow on the top of the mountains on the other side of the valley. There hasn't been any here. And it didn't look like there were any on the hill behind us, on top of the hill behind us. Tony's saying the food forest is much steeper than it looks on film. Yes. Some of that is because when I set the camera up, I then go, oh no, look, that looks wonky. And I try and I straighten it up. So it's me actually making it as I tilt the camera, as if I left the camera at the right. Actually, to be honest, most of the time, if I leave the camera where it is, it's like I'm slightly drunk. Yeah. Because you watch it and you kind of think, oh no, that's not straight. So quite a lot of it is just about, otherwise it just looks really odd on film. When you look sideways across it and everything's on this odd slant. I think Liz should do a video basically placing a beach ball in different places of the garden and filming how fast it takes to roll downhill to give you an idea of some of these spots. And the other thing about moving all that compost is you're not just moving it from here to there. Mm-hmm. It's actually a long old trek from any point to any point. Yeah, for sure. So from the compost, the manure heap, to the far end of the food forest and back. So one to go get the manure, take it to the far end of the food forest and back is 1/4 of a mile. Yeah. So if you're doing that a few times, you get quite a good workout, and it's uphill. So so let's have a little look. Carol's saying, Liz, what have you done with Mr. J? He is upstairs working at the moment. He's got his headphones on, so he can't hear us chatting. So Pete's saying his favourite gardening instrument is a hori knife. Yes, I am a complete convert to that. I'm a complete convert. I think the hori is amazing. It is so good. And actually, I wanted to bring mine with me for the bulb planting. But I wasn't. I wasn't going to try and get a 4-inch blade. Yes, but actually, I have found it very useful for so many things. Planting the onions, really quick. Done. So Inga's got to go. She's going to go walk the dog. Where have we got to time-wise? We're almost there. We are almost at the hour. You know what that means? What that actually means is I'm ready for a cup of tea. Yes. Niall's tea making skills are excellent, by the way. I just thought I'd report that back. When he arrived, I said, right, here's the important things. That's the kettle, here's the tea. Mm-hmm. And I walked off to do something else and just left him to make cups of tea as he arrived. Yeah. And earlier on, when things were the light was going down and Mr. J and Liz were starting to move the ducks. Yeah. It was like, we all need a cup of tea. And I went, right. I know I can do that. I'm getting tired and grumpy. I need tea. Yeah, emergency tea was made. Right, so I'm going to answer 2 more questions and then I think we're going to head off. Never Enough Time says, how do you deal with erosion and irrigation gardening on slopes? So where we live, there is an incredibly high rainfall. So most of my work now is about taking the water away from the site quickly enough, because it's a very peaty area, so the soil really holds the water. So there's a lot of French drains were put in by the previous owner. There's a lot of ditches down the side of, just right for us to fall into. So they're not deep, but you can certainly lose your footing into them. So they're about 1.5 to 2 feet deep, and those take the water away a lot. So as I'm planting, where I would normally have put in swales and with a berm, I'm not doing that at all. I'm literally just getting the water to run straight down the hillside, and equally I'm planting in straight lines down the hillside, so that they're not going to have water collecting at the roots, which will just rot the plants. Despite the fact it's on a hill, there are bits, like up by the duck house, is when it rains, the water literally pools there and you can see it gushing.
Yes.
And I do wonder whether there's a spring in that area, because there's so much water there. Yeah. So we might have to check to see if there is a spring there. That would be useful.
Very handy.
It would be really useful, wouldn't it? So I'm planting not on contour but against contour, just so that I can try and keep that water moving. And I will see next summer whether that was the right decision or not. We haven't been here a year yet. We've been here for 5 months. And apart from the first 4 or 5 weeks, it's been a wet 5 months. So what we have learned is we've learned an awful lot about how the water moves across the garden, and it moves not as fast as I'd like it to.
Oh yeah.
So there we go. Right, Jacqueline's saying great chat. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thanks for joining us. Do we have one other question we're going to answer? What type of tea do you all drink? So, Kim, I might be controversial here, but as far as I'm concerned, there is only one type of tea, and it comes from, is it camellia bush? I consider this is my personal thing, I don't consider any other infusions to be tea. So I know I get told off, because to me, but peppermint tea is not peppermint tea. It's a peppermint infusion.
Okay.
And it is just a personal thing. It's semantics, but it's one of those things I get up on my high horse about.
Black tea.
Sorry? Black tea.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, not green tea. Well, not red bush tea or any of those things.
Lady Grey.
Yeah, no, that's really lovely, but it is tea.
It is.
As opposed to made from something else. So
yeah.
I know there are other places. You see, Tony's a PG Tips person. Yeah, I'm a the little Yorkshire men with flat cap people. Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Well, you know what tea is, brand of tea I drink. So, okay. Oh, look, Morgan has just joined us. Hello. Hiya, from Goldshore Farm.
Oh, wow. Brilliant.
So, Morgan, can I introduce you to Niall? Niall is visiting me from Ireland for a few days. He came for a chilled out look at the place, and I've put him to work shoveling an awful lot of manure from out of a barn up onto garden beds today. So it's been an interesting one. So we're actually about 3 minutes away from pausing, because it's probably just time to go and stare at the fire and actually spend a little bit of time with Mr. J, who I abandoned about an hour and a half ago. So I know he's working and he's quite happy, but I feel like I ought to at least say I'm not ignoring you.
Yeah.
So brilliant. Right, let's have a little look. So Colin's saying Lady Grey tea for me.
Oh yeah, good taste, definitely.
Okay, so we are going to head off. Can I encourage you once again to pop over to Niall's channel, have a look at some of the stuff that he's doing. If you like what he's doing, subscribe. Don't forget to watch some, because something aligns with YouTube is if you subscribe and then you watch a couple of minutes of video, 1 or 2 videos, it tells YouTube that you really do want to stay subscribed, and it won't unsubscribe you in 48 hours or something like that. Something like that. Brilliant. So Dave's saying, what is Niall's channel? It is called Nile Gardens.
Yeah.
And I've left a link to it in the video description. Tony Gardens and Gizmo has put a link up on the screen for you. You should just be able to click on that and go over and find Niall's channel. Hopefully we're going to film a video tomorrow, which will appear at some point over the winter.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, do head over, enjoy his channel, and thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, and thank you. It's been really lovely to meet you virtually all. Yeah, it's been brilliant, because there are names that I see here that I recognize and names that I don't. So it's been really, really nice. Brilliant.
Okay, so wherever you are in the world and whatever you've got planned for today, I hope it's a good one. I also hope you join us again next time. Bye.
Bye.